Hey, what's up everyone? It's Chase, aka That Gay Jedi, and welcome to another video. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. I am very excited about today's video because for those who don't know, I studied acting in undergrad, so I have a BFA in theater performance, and I just need to talk about Elizabeth Olsen because what she brings to the MCU, they are lucky to have her, and she acted her ass off in Multiverse of Madness, and I don't see enough people talking about it. So I just needed to do this for me, out of love for her. So we're going to be looking at a couple scenes and a couple line deliveries, some physical choices, some emotional beats, that kind of stuff. And yeah, Scarlet Witch is just such an amazing character. And listen, to me, she is perfect. She fucked up, sure. But she thought she was over something and she kind of got over it, and then she regressed and she kind of fell backwards and wasn't actually over it, which is pretty relatable. And to give her the room and playground to play with that is, I think, a gift to her as a character, but also just as a woman on screen.
I don't believe in the glorification of murder. I do believe in the empowerment of women.
And yeah, her story just shows us where our deepest and rawest darkness and depression can bring us. And there's something very cathartic about that, especially with the way that she performed it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first scene we're gonna be looking at is the orchard scene, which to me, Elizabeth Olsen leaves no crumbs. She literally plays every emotional tone, every emotional beat she can play, she plays. She leaves no stone is left unturned.
The Darkhold only showed me the truth.
So right there, it's the head toss and saying the Darkhold only showed me the truth. She does a really good job of as Doctor Strange is setting up the Darkhold to be this big ooky spooky book, she's shrugging it off and saying, no, this is what happened. It showed me the truth. And to me, it kind of gives us a very grounded start to the Scarlet Witch and gives us a very, she comes across as very indignant and justified in what she's doing.
The Darkhold only showed me the truth. Everything I lost.
And that little voice crack on Lost, everything I lost, that voice crack on Lost, it's so great to see her go from this justified place to a little bit of vulnerable, and then
can be mine again.
That pause she takes before can be mine again. To me, it demonstrates how isolated and alone she feels and how desperate she is to get it back. That emotional beat that she plays, it's not in the script, y'all. She just decided to do that. So let's watch it again.
The Darkhold only showed me the truth. Everything I lost can be mine again.
That pause before can be mine again. Does that not give you all the desperation? It's great. It's great. And to see her eye work from going to being no, this is the Darkhold, very, again, indignant and justified, to sort of getting a little bit sad, saying lost, and then just the practicality of this can be mine again. I feel so alone and desperate in that isolation. Okay, and the next line we're going to look at in this scene is when we really start to get the classic sort of villain tropiness that the Scarlet Witch really sits in, which is one of my favorite things about her characterization in Multiverse of Madness. So
I'm going to leave this reality and go to one where I can be with my children.
Wanda, your children aren't real. You created them using magic.
That's what every mother does.
Okay, what is so villain tropey about this is her willingness to go from incredibly heartbroken to totally playful. And it also serves to show a little bit of her mind being a little bit unraveled. It kind of gives that tropey feeling of, oh, that person's not well. To see the exhaustion in her eyes and the total weariness that she's experiencing, and then just switching straight to clever playfulness, playing with Doctor Strange's words, kind of throwing his words back at him, is it is so Disney villain to me. It just reads as a Disney villain, which makes her so iconic to me.
I'm going to leave this reality.
And that voice, that vocal
and go
fry.
to where I can be with my children.
She can't even say children on voice because it's too emotional.
You created them using
and then she'll
magic.
switch straight.
That's what every mother does.
Yeah, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. That's what we all do. That's what we always do. That is perfect villain work. Okay, and then finally we get one more completely iconic villain moment when she continues to play with Strange and totally demonstrate her confidence and wit as the Scarlet Witch. And that is, of course, at the very end of this scene.
Return to Kamar-Taj and prepare to hand over America Chavez by sundown. Peacefully.
Okay, immediately she is telling him exactly what to do. She is saying, you're going to do it like this, and you're going to do it peacefully.
After that, you'll never see me again.
And then she's completely switching from like just totally demanding, telling him what to do, to playing with him and being like, oh, well, you'll never see me again, but you might not know what that means, but I know what that means, but that's on a need to know basis. So for her to go from like demanding to playful again is great. And then she follows up the playful with another threat.
And if we don't,
Then it won't be Wanda who comes for her. It will be the Scarlet Witch.
Oh, you guys, that chills, just total chills. And like you can see it in her eyes too, right? You can see her going from a very intense energy when she's saying, you're going to do this, you're going to go to Kamar-Taj, you're going to hand her over, you're going to do it peacefully. Then her eyes switch to like kind of like playful and kind of casual, like, well, you'll never see me again, kind of roll my eyes, kind of like take off the heat a little bit. And then she goes straight into like threatening, it'll be the Scarlet Witch. And the way her voice lowers on witch, it is so delicious. And again, it is like Disney villains. It is Disney villains. Ugh, it is so good. One more time. I just want to play it one more time just so you guys can see how playful it is tonally to go from a threat to play back to threat.
Return to Kamar-Taj and prepare to hand over America Chavez by sundown. Peacefully.
She is telling him
After that,
what to do.
You'll never see me again.
And then whatever. So good. And then, of course.
Then it won't be Wanda who comes for her. It will be the Scarlet Witch.
Period. Can you blame her? Okay, so that was the orchard scene. And then we got to get into the Kamar-Taj scene because the like not memification, but kind of memification. I mean, this scene was like pretty viral for a minute, and it was viral for a reason. And you know, there are a lot of fan cams, there are a lot of people using the audio, they're on TikTok, there's a lot of like reenactments of it, and it's all for a reason. And it's because it's incredibly written and incredibly performed. So we're going to take a look at that really quick.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Okay, I know. I don't know if this is going to be annoying because I'm going to keep pausing it, but that is just how this is going to happen. Though I am obsessed with this line delivery because what stands out to me about it is sort of the incredulous laughter she has towards him and that very genuine smile. Like she's like, you are an idiot. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's so condescending. It's there to exhibit how done she is, but it also like, it shows her total confidence as the Scarlet Witch. And it also, honestly, it kind of shows like the somewhat respectable restraint that she has used up to this point. She's like, you have no idea. Like I have been playing softball with you guys just to get what I want. And she's like laughing at him. She's like, you don't even get it, bro. Like you don't get it.
do not dare to enter these sacred grounds.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
She doesn't get it. She's like, you have no idea how reasonable I've been. And it's amazing to her. And she's fucking laughing about it and shaking with rage. So I love that. That's a beautiful, beautiful start to this moment.
Sending those creatures after her instead of myself was mercy. And in spite of
I
your
love his hands moving. He looks nervous,
and
y'all.
insults, I
And he
have
should
begged
be.
you to safely get out of
And
my
the
way.
accent coming out on the get out.
You have exhausted my patience.
Okay, there we go. You have exhausted my patience. So not only on you have exhausted my patience, there's so much breath on that. Like she's really using the vowels to convey the emotion. I don't know how intentional this is, right? So, but that's, you know, in a lot of Shakespearean ways of training, you know, you learn to use those vowels for emotion and you can hear the emotion. You can hear her exhaustion as she talks about him exhausting her patience.
You have exhausted my patience.
Oh. And then we also have the physical choice of to sort of like shrug it off. The way that she shrugs off is such a completely brilliant physical choice to that line because it's almost as if she's like shrugging off any intention of playing softball anymore. To me, this shrug really signifies like a switch. She is like, you've exhausted my patience. I am shedding myself of any inhibition, of any more patience, and I'm about to kick your ass. It's just like such a fuck it moment, right? She's just like, you can tell with that shrug, with that physical choice, that she is like done pulling punches.
You have exhausted my patience.
She's done.
But I do hope you understand.
And then we have the, but I do hope you understand. I am so obsessed with her her nose scrunch that she does, and like sort of like the lipping that she does, the amount of like teeth that we see, like, I mean, she's like a wolf or a dog baring its teeth, like showing just how angry she is on a primal level. So I'm so like ecstatic about the amount of teeth baring that we get. It's just so threatening. It's deservedly condescending towards Strange, and she is throwing back all the mansplaining onto him, and it just kind of has like shady like work email written all over it, right? That's like, but I do hope you understand. Like, that is it's good.
But I do hope you understand.
Oh, those teeth. Give me those teeth, girl. Absolutely. Okay, and then we have, I mean, it's only gonna get better. Okay.
But even now, what's about to happen?
Ma'am, to jump from the strong, low clearness of that even now, and then straight into a whisper, what's about to happen? I cannot explain to you. I mean, it is such a power move. It is such a power move. It is giving goddess who's about to like unleash wrath onto a world. It is like so... It is such a power move. It is such a power move. And I just love it because when we get mad as humans, like when we get a whole new level of anger that we haven't felt before, sometimes we don't get loud. We get very quiet. And that's exactly what she's doing here. And it's also especially threatening for the Scarlet Witch to be doing that, because it is implying, like, the quietness of her delivery is implying that her powers are what's going to bring the noise. She's going to be quiet, and she's going to let all her ass kicking speak volumes. So let's watch it one more time.
But even now, what's about to happen?
Oh, I cannot handle it. And again, just like the constant, her blood is just on fire this whole scene. You can literally just see her blood boiling and her body shaking with how much rage she has in her body. And more than anything, it's also just like a great scare tactic, right? Just to be whispering with your food before you play with it. I mean, I don't do that with my food, but you know what I mean? It just gives all that good villain energy.
This is me being reasonable.
Okay. She puts him in his place so fast with that is. She doesn't say, this is me. She goes, this is me. She really puts the sauce on that is. And it implies that she will define herself. She does not need him or anyone else to define her for her or to say if she's being reasonable or not. She's done with that. That is, we have drawn a veil over that. No. She will decide for herself. And the way that, again, look, I'm just rewinding. You can see her head, that nasty little like head moving side to side, the lip curl. It's such a sassy, she puts the sass on it. She does. She says, this is me.
This is me.
This is me. And then all the lip twitches around being reasonable. It is like she's putting her everything into like this word, right? This word that has been put on her. And I just gotta say, she puts this primal rage of like every woman being told that they're either too emotional or they're not acting reasonable enough. It is so good. It is so good. And the way she says reasonable, of course, we go back to the whisper, but she doesn't let that whisper lose any letter of that word. She eats that word up, and she lets that word really sit in her mouth, and she spits it all out letter for letter at Strange.
Being reasonable.
She hits the REASONABLE of that word. Do you know what I mean? So honestly, we gotta stand, you guys. This scene is insane. It's so good. Let's just kind of like, I kind of want to rewind and just let her sing her song for a second. You know what I mean? Because it's just too good. I'll go from here.
You have exhausted my patience.
Oh, that condescending tone. Exhausted my patience.
You understand. But even now, what's about to happen? This is me being reasonable.
Ooh. Hey, I know it was just the Oscars, and I know this movie came out a long time ago, and I know not many people talk about it, but I'm gonna need her to get an Oscar for this, okay? So I know we've been going for a minute, but I couldn't like highlight Olsen's amazing villain acting without also highlighting sort of the arc that she has and the emotionality and emotional expression she brings on her arc side of things, right? And the arc, by the way, that was given to her by America Chavez, because this woman made space for this other woman, and Strange could never do that. And then I also have to say, while she throws herself around, we have to start with this stop it. So as Billy and Tommy start throwing toys at her, she screams stop it in like the most iconic way. But there's a little bit of a funny story at that I'll play the story after you guys hear the stop it.
No! No! Stop it!
Like, that makes me feel like I'm in trouble. I'll let her explain this.
But there's a moment where I have to snap at people I love. And that was a difficult scene. And one of the people that I love, the little people that I love, they were throwing things at me in the scene and accidentally smacked my face really hard. And that was the best reaction. And I felt so bad that I used it as the actor and let it inform how I responded to these people that I love, because they were terrified after. And that was something I did not enjoy at all, but I knew it would be good for the scene.
Okay, so we get that amazing stop it and that snap and that anger, right? And we have the story behind it. But then what I love is as she's coming up to the kids who are cowering behind the stair banister, she goes from being completely pissed off during that stop it into like this soft smile approach, so as to like hopefully appease Billy and Tommy and try to show them that she isn't a threat, which I think is a really, really nice tactic on Elizabeth Olsen's end. Like, she is like, okay, I'm going to smile. I'm going to let them know. I'm going to look as like sort of like innocent as I can, even though she looks completely deranged. And then another reason why I love that choice to kind of like force herself into this smile is I think it blends really, really well into her confusion when that tactic doesn't work and when the kids are still horrified of her.
Please don't hurt us. Please.
You see that confusion?
I would never hurt you. Never.
And that delivery literally makes me want to cry, you guys. Like, you can tell that despite the fact that she has been living in this villain era, she is total mother in this scene. And I mean like literal mother. You can tell that even though she is like villain Wanda, right? Villain Scarlet Witch right now, villain Wanda, whatever. You can tell that on a primal level, as like a mother to Billy and Tommy across multiple multiverses, she needs them to understand that she would never hurt them. So while she'd hurt everyone else, she would never hurt them. And she like, you can tell just like by this line delivery, you can tell how much she needs them to understand that. And it is really heartbreaking. And then we sort of have this Wanda on Wanda moment, and we get Scarlet Witch on her knees, completely heartbroken by her realization that she has become the monster. But what I love so much about this scene is you can tell by this look that she gives this other Wanda. You can not only tell that it's one of the first physical touches of compassion she has had in God knows how long, but that she's finally being like validated by someone, the only person who can get it, right? And that is another version of herself. And it's just it's such a freeing release and catharsis in this exchange, and it's beautifully performed. She tells her, know that they'll be taken care of, like, know that they'll be loved, sorry. And it's I'm sorry. I gotta say, you guys, I think that it's beautiful, beautiful emotional autonomy to give to Scarlet Witch and to give Elizabeth Olsen as a performer. And yeah, man, whoa, that's a lot. But I had a lot of fun doing that. Again, I could just sit here all day and sort of play by play every scene that she has ever done, because I just think she's genius. I hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you did, let me know by clicking like and leaving a comment down below. What's your favorite scene? What's your favorite moment that Wanda has had so far? And what do you hope from her in the future? I know there's a lot of talk about her getting her own movie, and I would love to see it. I think they'd be foolish not to do that. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more of these acting analysis, just let me know and I can get right on that. I know that Daisy Ridley brings a whole lot of stuff into this sequel trilogy, and I think that her acting is underrated as well. So maybe I'll do it on her. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. It really means the world, and may the force be with you always.